Hi guys, and welcome to another video. In today's video lesson, we're going to be looking at grade 11 maths algebra, rationalizing a monomial and binomial denominator. The question that we're going to be looking at is from the DBE November 2016, and it's question 2. Now, this question or this section falls under roots and exponents, or roots and surds. Now, this is a binomial denominator. Now, the reason that it's irrational is because we have a surd here in the denominator. Also, here we have a monomial denominator. Monomial means one term. And this is also a surd. Now, remember that a surd is a root that is not perfect. Okay, so a perfect square root, or a perfect square will be like, for example, the square root of 4 is 2. The perfect cube root, like for example, will be the cube root of 27 is 3, and so on. But if you look at a non-recurring or non-terminating decimal, like let's say square root of 2, see, you see now that's a surd, right? See, that's a non-terminating and a non-recurring decimal. Then if you look at, for example, square root of 4, now that one there is now going to be, see, that's rational. Okay, so that's just an explanation of what an irrational denominator is. Now, how do we rationalize this thing? So what we have to do is we have to multiply by 1. Basically, we're gonna, if it's a binomial denominator, we're gonna multiply by its conjugate here. So let me just explain what I'm gonna do. Now, first of all, it says without using a calculator, show that. In a show that question, we have to show that the left hand side is equal to the right hand side. So let's take this left hand side, 2 over 1 plus the square root of 2. Now multiply by this conjugate. Now I'm going to multiply by 1 minus root 2 over 1 minus root 2. Essentially, I'm multiplying by 1. See, 1 minus root 2 over 1 minus root 2 is actually 1. Now, we call this a conjugate because we're introducing sum and difference here, right? If I only multiply the first and the last terms there, what I'm going to be left with? 1 minus 2. Okay, and then what you're going to get? Minus 1 as your denominator. Thereby, you'll be rationalizing this binomial denominator. So whenever you get this now, a binomial, all you do is you multiply by the same terms, right? But you just change the sign there. So if it's plus, put minus. Let's look at another example. What if you had like 3 minus root 2? Then you'll multiply by 3 plus root 2 over 3 plus root 2. Okay, so that's just what you have to do. Now minus, now this is a monomial denominator, 8 over root 8. So yeah, it's right, simpler. You're just going to multiply by root 8 over root 8. That's it. And now we're going to simplify. Let's see what we're going to get. So we're going to get 2 minus 2 root 2. I'm just opening the brackets here, right? 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times minus root 2 is minus 2 root 2. And here, 1 times 1 is 1. This is sum and difference here. You can see that. See, sum and difference. So we're only going to multiply the first and the last terms. If we're using here the FOIL method, first, outer, inner, last. Remember that the inner and the outer terms will cancel. So you're going to be left with 1 times 1 is 1. Plus root 2 times minus root 2 is minus 2. Okay, remember that. Square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is going to equals to 2. Okay, square root of 2, remember the roots like cancel, you can say, right? Times the square root of 2 is equal to 2. Now minus 8 times root 8 is going to be 8 root 8. Once again, square root of 8 times square root of 8 is going to equals to 8. Now let's simplify. What we're going to be left with here? See, 8 and 8 cancels there. Here we're going to be left with 1 minus 2 is minus 1. So you're going to be left with minus 1 into 2 minus 2 root 2. You don't have to say minus 1. You can just say minus into, right? See, because 1 minus 2 is minus 1. And here you got minus root 8. So let's now distribute. Take this minus into the brackets here. You're going to get minus 2 plus 2 root 2. Now, minus root 8 is going to be minus 4 times 2. A perfect square times a prime number. So you're going to get Square root of 4 is 2 root 2. So you're going to be left with minus 2 plus 2 root 2 minus 2 root 2. You can always double check using your calculator. Root 8 equals 2. See that? 2 root 2. So what happens now? Remember, you can add and subtract like surds. So you get plus 2 root 2 and minus 2 root 2 cancels, which is equals to minus 2. Let's go check what our right hand side is. Okay, so you can clearly see that the right hand side is equal to minus 2. So therefore we can now conclude the left hand side is equal to the right hand side. Learners, if you haven't subscribed already, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, JL Maths. Also, you can catch all videos in all of the work schedules on jlmaths.com, like my Facebook page, Justin Lazarus Mathematics. And I'll catch you in the next video.